Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, agents. I am Mounty Carl, and this is a Let's Talk on the Division. Even more so, this is a call to action by another company, and I'm going to go ahead and give another company a shot at what could be a unique opportunity by going ahead and letting them know in this video what I think of some things. The company I'm talking about is Electronic Arts, otherwise known as EA, and I'll explain why in a few short minutes, because not only will this video serve as a 1.4 changes I want to see video, but something I figured I might as well call out the major changes I want to see since everyone is doing it, and they won't actually happen, because here's a bit about insight on game devs that I have for you. Yes, this is a first that they asked the community for, it's a first. It's really a first. They're asking the community for help, but 9 times out of 10, the creative people on the team, they already have ideas for the way they're going to change it, and honestly, if the community is coming up with 10 new ways to kill an enemy, the developer probably already knows about it. I think the Elite Task Force is a great way to bring some people to Malmo, show them that they are indeed in person working on the game, and I say this because, they want a lot of people to go, and a lot of the people out there are people that are pretty popular from what I've read about, and they are those who can reach the largest number of bodies to be talking about and the trip, and what I see and what they see while they are there, they want to get back to the community, and they want people on Reddit discussing it, they want people on YouTube discussing it, and they will discuss and take features from the group, yes, but this is their baby, and if somebody took your dream and told you how it should be, it would feel pretty insulting if somebody told you how to do your job. I have no doubt that many of the videos have scratched a nerve, especially my videos, with some of the people out there that work at Massive, so, what do you think it's going to do to the creator of this game? Do you think that our comments are going to be very well taken in by the designers who were basically saying, I have no design experience in the game industry, yet I have ideas for you, and I'm going to tell you exactly how you need to do your job. And despite whether or not these are great ideas, the person on the other end of that line may not be very receptive to the critical efforts that are being put forth. Every gear set I redesign is basically like saying you didn't do a good job the first time and I can do better. But I also have game design background, so it's not what I'm saying in these videos at all. These redesigns are not made to be disrespectful to anyone over at Massive or on the creative team. It's made to show the possibility of what they could be in a balanced world within the division. And some of these I'm actually doing a hard time actually coming up with stuff because I can't come up with stuff all the time. I'm saying that all the gear sets need to be reworked without a doubt, and that's one of the things that we'll talk about in these discussions 1.4, because I'm not going to Malmo myself, so I figure, why not use this week to go ahead and create a whole list of videos in 1.4. Now, will the gear sets you have now need to be reworked? No, they're not going to be reworked. You're not going to see very much change to the gear sets you have now, and in 1.4 or even in survival, I think that they need to leave the current gear sets in the past, like Destiny did with Year 1 items. Anything below gear score 268 should be the last gear sets of it, and currently, that we have. And we should be able to rebuild on top of those, leave them in the past, and start introducing new gear sets that change the way we play the game. If there is a gear score after 1.4, which there shouldn't be, we shouldn't have gear scores at all. They need to be completely new sets of armor with zero ability to bring up the old sets to the next level of the game. It's time to recycle the old and make way for the new, because the old is broken and the new is our future moving forward. This video is going to, it was going to be my Striker redesign, but instead, it should very well serve as the 1.4 redesign I want to see, and it's only going to cover one topic, so we'll get into that really quickly. I'll cover Striker in my next video, and the reason I'm doing the whole 3, 4, and 6, somebody asked, the whole reason I'm doing the 3, 4, and 6 piece gear bonuses are likely because of the nerf to Sentry and Striker, which is why I'm doing the Striker next, because it's already starting to fall in line with what I wanted to do. So why continue with the inconsistencies? There's just, we already started the nerf with the Sentry and Strikers. Let's go ahead and bring the other gear sets up to this mark. Make it unified across the board instead of nerfing things you find too OP. I'm just saying, your game has inconsistencies everywhere in it. Let's resolve that issue and be done with it. Let's start making things more consistent. All right, so let's talk about the number one thing that needs to be addressed in 1.4, and even in the survival DLC to make this game fun. Yes, Indeed, this game, like I said before, it is not fun. It is not fun in the slightest bit right now. And it's very sad to say that because I have fun playing it on occasion. And it's, but let's face it, the fun wears off after your third clip into a guy carrying a shotgun. That shouldn't be the way you make the game fun, is by, frustrating the player. To be honest, the Division I know and love is actually already been made. It is already a game that's been made. It's out in the market right now. You can go pick it up off the shelf today. The only difference is it doesn't have an open world, but it's been made 3 times. So now I'm going to stop the Division gameplay right here and throw up gameplay of what the Division gameplay should have been. And I think that it should have been this from the very beginning. If you are unaware of this game, it is called Army of Two, and you'll notice that there are a lot of similarities in the look of the game and the look of the enemy, from the guns to the enemies. How many shots it takes to kill one of these guys, you ask? Well, the answer is one well-placed shot. Yes, I'm saying that Division needs to get rid of the RPG element that it has going on right now. This would make 90% of the issues that are currently plaguing the game go away, and this would actually be the simplest fix that they could do. The Division is just as linear, if not more so, than Army of Two, and the only difference separating them is that there isn't an open world. EA. This is for EA. This is what I mentioned at the beginning of the video. EA, if you're watching this is where you can make millions of dollars. Look at how many people bought the Division, and look at how many people are very sad and left the Division because of the current state. You could easily make a game called, I'm throwing it out there, World of Two, and make an open style, even Army of Two Worlds or something to that effect, and make an open style shooter similar to the Division. I'll tell you what, call me up. I'll design it for you. I'll come in with a design and give you everything that you want, and I can make this game and make you, make that your next big franchise. People would buy this game. Recognize the game for what it is and make this great. Make this great game. Also, EA, I know this is really going off topic, but design aside, your newer games feed into buying coins and getting coins to buy things, and that's where you make the bulk of your money. This plays right into the type of game. If anyone out there is familiar with Army of Two, this is very similar. You have a game here, no joke, and it would be unwise to squander a world where Army of Two isn't the direct competitor to not just the Division, but also Ghost Recon Wildlands. Look at both those games, make a game with Army of Two, and you will have more people if you just put in the things that we're looking for. You've seen that people want these games, and people will piss and moan and make YouTube videos, and there were millions of people who wanted the Division to succeed, and right now there are millions of people who have left the Division and are playing other things until the next great thing comes out. So if you work for EA or anything like that, pass this on to somebody there and get them to make these games, because there is money there. I mean, it's just sitting there. There's a stack of money there. Now, let's go ahead and get back to the topic on hand. And also, thank you to EA for viewing this video if you are in fact watching this. So it would take some work, but it's not impossible. I want you to take and look how Army of Two's combat mechanics work. It's the same as the Division, except for one thing that makes it so you don't need 100 bullets to take down a guy. You see, there is a right way and a wrong way of doing this type of game. As you watch the gameplay of Army of Two, you see I am in cover, and it's not because I like the cover system. It's because I don't want to get shot, because I will die. It's the same. It takes almost the same amount of shots in Army of Two that it takes in the Division to die. I am just as, if not slightly more squishy than in the Division with the character at this current level. As I got through here, you'll notice the same type of characters. There's shotgunners, there's rushers, people using cover, shield, enemies, various types of tactics and grenades. I mean, I could throw a grenade in this game and kill someone with it. It's not difficult to do. So Massive, what needs to happen now is a full redesign of your enemy AI and how that all works, and the combat mechanics of how that works. It's not a huge undertaking, because Army of Two is far more technical in every way of how the enemy AI operates. This isn't rocket scientist, it's programming. And no, you are going to ask if there is any shame in starting over, admitting you were wrong, and going back to the drawing board and making the tactical game shooting instead of the RPG shooter that with zero RPG elements anyways. That's a mouthful, but anyways, there's no shame in going back and redesigning the game. The enemies in the game should be specialized, and the gameplay you are watching, by the way, is on the hardest difficulty. That's not a huge surprise, but let's keep going. Massive, all you got to do is rework enemy health and make these fights have more enemies or more waves. Keep enemy damage where it is. It's perfect. In this game, it's perfect. But lower the enemy health to 1 M1A shot to the head is a kill. Body shots maybe 2 with an M1A. Instead of an armor bar, provide some of these enemies with body armor, so if you hit them, they don't take any damage. There's a right way and a wrong way to do this, and there's a way to make this fun and enjoyable for everybody. Now, at this point, you guys are like, Mounty Carl, you're getting out of hand. You're talking crazy. This would be an insanely easy game. No, it's not. It's actually what a lot of tactical shooters do, and you can still die. I died a lot going through Army of Two, and as you can see, I'm shooting guys one time, and sure, this is probably, when I'm familiar with the game, it's in the later levels, and I'm, blowing them away, but you can still die. It's not impossible to die in this shooter. I mean, right now, one shotgunner left unchecked will wipe an entire squad in the Division with no problem. They have no problem. It's no effort, no joke. So why should we be so underpowered that we can't do the same and at least protect ourselves? One person should be able to protect themselves from a shotgunner. Now, I mean, this is by far the number one issue the game has, and it's the number one thing I hear over and over again. I see it in Skill Up's video, I see it in Eric's video, I see it in Marco's video, I see it in, Upper Echelon Gaming's video, I see it in all of the videos from people who do content on the Division, that this is the number one thing that people complain about. I see it in thread after thread after thread after thread. Can I keep going? And more threads. There's hundreds of thousands of threads on the Division and the _ Division subreddits about this exact thing, and it needs to be taken care of because it's the one thing that's stopping people from having a good time, because it's such a BS thing. Take the RPG element out of the game. This game is not an RPG. It never should have been an RPG, and it just go from there. Just go ahead and redo it. This isn't Borderlands. There's no expectation that you can go through and not redesign this game and have people come back. So, there's a lot that can be learned from the other games that are out right now. And, so I'm going to go ahead and split this up over time, because there's a lot of stuff that we need to cover in 1.4, and I feel like making, a 30-minute video that covers just glancing over a bunch of stuff isn't going to really get my point across and what I want to change for this video. So I'm going to go ahead and make numerous videos this week leading up to September 7th, so that this can be all gone over at the Elite Task Force Workshop. And so tomorrow I'll cover my number 2 thing and the Striker set redesign. So just a few more comments about these games. Fundamentally, tactical shooters should be the same, but it's the boss fight where things take a turn. The boss fight in this game are essentially the same. Literally, the boss fights in Army of Two and the boss fights in the Division are almost exactly the same. They take the same number of bullets, there's tactics, but Army of Two has a more stereotypical boss fight in a game where you need to use some sort of tactics, there's some sort of spot you have to shoot, and it's not just shoot an enemy till it's dead. I mean, I can't imagine that the game design for the Division has, boss number 2 and underground, and underneath it says how to kill. It says shoot enemy till dead. I mean, that's not the way it should have been. There's nothing there that should have been shoot enemy till it dead, because I've done that 100 times. The game is 100% playable if you just heed those words. Shoot enemy till dead. There's nothing else that you need to do. Point gun, shoot gun, that's it. There's nothing. Every single thing that you do in this game, there's nothing more to it than shooting an enemy till they're dead. That is a lot, 99% of this game. Sure, flick on a light here, an elevator here, a generator here, but fundamentally, those things don't affect the game. Sure, protect the CTF officer, JTF officer, whatever it is. But that's not, those guys have so much health and they're so stupid that they just run into enemies, and they, if you're on heroic and most of your guys die, they're going to die and you're going to fail the level, and it's stupid. There's a lot of really dumb AI mechanics that, you would think that a JTF officer would actually be a little bit tactical and stay with the team, the team of agents that are there to protect him. No, he likes to run off by himself. That's a whole other thing. The AI needs to be reworked. Maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow. But let's go forward here, and like I said before, there are a lot of things that can be learned from other games that are out right now, other tactical shooters, and I think the number one takeaway is that there is no shame in redesigning a game to be better and changing it by 100% on how it plays. Look at Star Wars Galaxy. Let's take it. A lot of you are probably too young to actually know that game, but it came out back in 2001 or somewhere around there. When I was originally playing it, I was looking for something to do in the game. There was no storyline. There was really no dungeons to go on. It was nothing like Knights of the Old Republic that you guys have today. But if they had told me what the game was and how I should play it, that Star Wars Galaxies was really Second Life in a Star Wars universe, I would have had a much more clear understanding of it and would have had the expectation adjusted properly. However, they didn't. The game went out south and they redesigned it to be a more typical MMO. That's the best example of a company doing a full redesign of a game already in production I've ever seen, and it was generally well accepted. Personally, Sony, if you're watching this video, bring out a server, re-release the original Star Wars Galaxies the way it originally was today, just a few servers, and call it Star Wars Life, just enough servers to pay for the game and running it, and people will go and play it. There's nothing to do but hang out, make a life for your character, go on adventures. I bet you could make money, but that's for you to decide. That's all on you. Go ahead and do it. So that's my time. Thank you for watching. We'll have more of these as I go along. I know these can be quite long and in-depth, but I think spending time fully explaining to Massive why this can be the game's saving grace is important. I want to tell them what the issue is, just going, and not leaving things open-ended for them to figure out and interpret what they mean. Because if I give them a full breakdown, they can fully understand it without asking me any questions, and they don't have anything open to interpretation, which is what got us here in the first place. Thank you again for watching this whole thing. If you found it entertaining, drop a like. If you don't know what to play between now and 1.4, go and pick up a second or third version of Army of Two and play with a friend. Not the first one. EA shut down the servers and the game is unplayable except for solo. I guess you could, the single player is really, you could go through and do the single player, but co-op multiplayer is really where it's at. Army of Two is actually really where I got the name for this channel from, is because we were doing Army of Two a lot. And so that's really where the name of this channel came from, if you want to know a little origin story for this channel. And if you go to my Twitter account, you'll see the picture on there is Army of Two. It's the mask. I actually am sitting next to the mask. If you go back through my video, you'll actually see I'm wearing the Rios and which one? I don't remember what it is, but I'm wearing two of the masks, the Alpha and the Bravo mask. I have them both. I went to EA, I bought them, and they're really cool. They're not going to stomp any bullets, but they're really cool. So that's just it. It's a great experience, and while not praised by critics, it was hugely fun for me and my buddy Slimmy for going through and playing it. I have a whole playthrough on my channel. If you go back through, I'll maybe put a link to the very first video in there. We do a little bit of talking and communicating while we're doing it, but it's mostly just gameplay. If you aren't subscribed to our channel, please consider that, as we will have new videos all the time for you. For all of us here at The Division Let's Talk and Gun Brothers Gaming, I am Mounty Curl, and we'll see you right here tomorrow, same time, same channel. Agent out.